So good evening, YouTube. Good evening. Happy Monday. It's getting confused with the days already, and we ain't even got into Christmas yet. So, Merry Christmas Eve. We're on the rum and coke. Come on, it's a holiday period. We're allowed a rum and coke. But yeah, I'm here now. So sorry I kept you all waiting. Mikel Arteta has done his press conference for the game. We have a game on Boxing Day. I will be doing a live stream, a watch along for that on Boxing Day. With Guna Eagle Eye. So go and check him out if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed to him already. But yeah, we're gonna get through the press conference in a minute. I will be doing also the streams as normal tomorrow. I know it's Christmas Eve, but 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock as normal. The preview will be out at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I'll do that live. Later on this evening, we'll do a little look forward to the game. And then, yeah, tomorrow as normal, it'll be daily transfer update. Going forward with them, I know I was doing them at 7 o'clock in the morning. Whilst I'm in England with friends and family and that, I'll be doing them on the day rather than pre-recording them the night before. So, yeah, they'll be out as and when, but they will be out. And then, obviously, I'll be doing the streams as normal unless it's a match like on Boxing Day. And then we'll just go straight into the starting 11 reaction on that day. But yeah, Merry Christmas or Christmas Eve to everybody who does celebrate Christmas. I know not everyone does, so if you don't, cool. Thanks for coming to watch anyway. But let's get into this press conference. I didn't know the press conference was scheduled for 1 o'clock today. Otherwise, I would have just streamed this live earlier on. But there we go. Let's get into it. Mikel Arteta was firstly asked about how he's found his time at Arsenal so far. Well, listen, you've probably been here less than 48 hours, mate. So what a random question to ask. But he said, I think we have a really good team with a lot to improve. There's definitely a lot to improve, mate, like most of the squad. Two things we demanded against Everton, they've done. So that was a good starting point. They have a bit of a picture of what I expect from them. Well, listen, we did play well against Everton defensively. Offensively, we were anonymous. But defensively, they put in a lot of fight in that game and nullified Everton down to 0 shots on target, which was good. But obviously, going forward, we're Arsenal Football Club. We should be able to defend like that as standards and then obviously go forward and score goals as well. But I was happy in a way that we didn't concede a goal against Everton because we've been conceding goals left, right and centre. Excuse me. But yeah, forward line was anonymous against City and against Everton. He then was asked about any changes. He goes, we are much more committed. The body language has been much better and we've got more passion in the team and that is non-negotiable. Do you know what? The way he speaks, yeah, when he's saying things like non-negotiable, I like that. I just hope he backs it because some of these players are going to test him and really test him. I'm not going to name names. We all know who they are. They've done it with 2 or 3 other managers. But when he says that's non-negotiable, let's hope that is, because if it is non-negotiable, then we're going to see some big names either leaving this football club or being left out of match day squads, which I agree with. I do agree with that. Some of these players are taking liberties out of the managers and out of the club and the fans. He was then asked about Freddie Ljungberg. By the way, Freddie Ljungberg is part of the coaching staff now. He's not leaving to go to Malmo. They've had a conversation about that, and he is staying. He's not going to be the assistant, but he is going to be in the backroom staff. He is going to be part of the match day squads apparently as well. He goes, I spoke to him after the game. I told him who I want to bring in and what I wanted to know was what he was feeling. We decided the best thing would be for him to carry on with us. I know him a little bit, but this is a new chapter, and he was always very positive. And listen, big up Freddie Ljungberg. Because he's not stupid. He knows the problems of this football club. And the problems of this football club are not a fan channel, by the way. The problems of this football club are players taking the mick, the board taking the mick, and even the owner taking the mick. So, yeah, it's not a fan channel. It's the playing staff, the hierarchy at this club that are the problem. And when Freddie came out and outed them the other week and said that he can't do it on his own with just him and Mertesacker, we need other bodies in. And he said he put that to them and they said, we'll see what we can do. I mean, that kind of sums it all up, doesn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? We'll see what we can do. We're now sat here nearly a month after Unai Emery was sacked, and we still don't know exactly who all of our coaching staff are. And we don't know who all of Mikel Arteta's staff are, which is kind of weird. It's like it took a month, or it took 3 weeks to employ Mikel Arteta. Cool, finally we got it done, which is fine. Fantastic. But we've not got all of the coaching staff on board yet, and that's a worry. We're nearly in 2020. We're nearly a month away from when we sacked Unai Emery, and we're still no closer to having a full coaching staff. But there we go. He was then asked about Mesut Ozil. Whoa, Ozil haters, Ozil lovers even, Ozil lovers. Listen to this. You'll like this. You will like this. He said, it's a question for Freddie. I just wanted him to pick the best possible lineup for the game against Everton. You're not going to be judged on what you've done in the past in a positive or negative way. We tried to put the most competitive team out, and we are ready to nullify them as much as possible, talking about Bournemouth. So he's basically saying it doesn't matter what Mesut Ozil's done in the past. That was under Freddie, that was under Emery, that was under Wenger. It's a clean slate. Now, listen, he's not going to come out and sit there and slag him off and say, yeah, he's useless. He ain't in my plans, is he? Because if he does that, all of a sudden, he's got a massive issue on his hands and he loses half a fan base. But I do believe that he might play games under Arteta. I don't think he'll be here for much longer, if I'm honest. He was then asked about the January transfer window, which is kind of funny because the other day when he did his press conference, he said that he hadn't had any conversations about the January transfer window. And now fast forward 2 days, he's had many conversations about the transfer window, which is what he said. We've had many conversations about the transfer window. We have a meeting soon and some ideas that I have put forward to them, and we're going to work together. Listen, we've got a big window coming up. It is a massive, massive window coming up. And we've got to get some of these players out. And if anybody hasn't seen my daily transfer update, go and check that out. I put that out earlier this afternoon. Say Kolasinac's linked with a move. Granit Xhaka again is still linked with a move. There's other players, but I went with them too for today. But there's a lot of players that shouldn't be at this football club. We've gone through that. I don't need to go through that again now. I think pretty much 90% of the people that watch my streams agree with the players that I say shouldn't be here. The other 10%, cool, that's your opinion. That's what makes football so great, difference of opinions. But players like Kolasinac and Ozil and Mustafi and Xhaka's, for me, surplus to requirements. And I think that under the way that Arteta's looking to play, with a high press, the high energy, the quick passing, that's what it looks like from the training pictures and videos I've seen today. He was showing him how to kick a ball today, which I found hilarious. It was like, you get the ball and you'll kick it to him. Then you'll get the ball and you'll kick it to him. I thought, are they that clueless that he's got to show him how to kick a ball? But maybe that's why we're about 11th in the league. He was then asked about racism. I haven't seen any of this. I've just seen little snippets of, apparently there was something that happened yesterday in the game with Chelsea and Tottenham. Is that right? Like I said, I haven't really seen any of it, but the thing I'm reading off of now has got a picture of Rudiger. I'm assuming something's happened in that. He then said, I think if that continues, another type of reaction will be needed. The message to drive it out has to be stronger after yesterday. So yes, obviously that probably is the case then. Every situation is different. It's so difficult as a player. They can react in different ways. So yeah, let's read some of these comments. He did not say that about the transfer window. You obviously weren't listening. No, I'm reading it off a transcript from football.london, mate. So obviously James Benge is making it all up, bruv. Rudiger got racially abused. Wow, that's proper mad. Nearly 2020 and people are still like that, you know. He was then asked if he was happy so far. He said, I need them all on board after the meetings we've had. It is to get everybody on board, and I'm happy with the reaction of the squad so far, which is good. Listen, we need the squad to up their levels because they have been in the gutter for about a year right now. And it doesn't look like half of them want to be here. Like I said, Aubameyang gets a pass with this fan base for some reason. The last 2 games, that geezer has been woeful. Our worst player in both of them games. But because it's Aubameyang, oh, but he scores loads of goals. We'd be relegated without him. Well, guess what? He's going to leave at some point. So what, do we just liquidate? You know, sometimes these players need digging out, and sometimes just because they're your favourite, you've got to be honest with it. I don't particularly rate Granit Xhaka. I thought he was fantastic at the weekend. I rate Martinelli. I thought he was poor at the weekend. I don't sit here with any hidden agenda on anything. I just say what I see. Some people just mask over these players because it's their favourite player, which is why certain players are still at this football club when they probably shouldn't be. But there we go. He was then asked about his priorities. He said, what we are going to transmit to the team is accountability to play for this football club. That is the basic. Well, that is exactly what it should be as well. Because, listen, these players have not been accountable since the Wenger days. And that's not having a dig at Wenger. That's just talking with reality and fact. These players, no matter how crap they've been over the years, will always walk straight back into the first team. Like Granit Xhaka did the other day. I was shocked he started the other day. He hasn't played for 2 games because of concussion. Bang, you're straight back in the team. Why? Why are you straight back in the team? I don't get that. I genuinely don't get it. You know, if you're playing well, and say for example Granit Xhaka goes out injured, for example, and then somebody comes in and plays well for 2 games, why should you then come back straight into the team? That guy who's played well should keep your shirt, and he should take the shirt for the next game. And then you play your way out of the team, and then he should play his way into the team by doing stuff in training. And that's how it should be. But sadly, it hasn't worked like that at this football club for a very long time. He was then asked about Eddie Howe. Some of you guys wanted him as manager for Arsenal. He said, I've been very impressed since he started. He's very good at what he does. He's a coach. I like the value, the work he's done, because what he has done is not easy to sustain over many years. Which is true. Listen, he's a big fish in a small pond, Eddie Howe. I don't think if he went to a bigger club, he'd be as successful as he is in terms of the size of the club that Bournemouth are. And that's not trying to mug them off. But I don't think if he went to an Arsenal, to a Man United, to a Chelsea, any top 6 team, although we're 11th, I think if he went to a club like that, he'd find it extremely difficult because you're playing with or training and coaching bigger and better players on paper. Bigger egos on paper. I think he'd find it a little bit more difficult if he was at a bigger club. He's kind of in his comfort zone, Eddie Howe, which is why he would never get sacked, which is why he'll never get will ever leave for me. That was pretty much all I'm going to cover on the press conference. But yeah, we do play Bournemouth on Boxing Day. I'm really looking forward to the game, actually. I think did we draw there last season or lose 1-0? I think we might have lost 1-0. I can't remember. Might have been a draw. I think we were 1-0 down. I can't remember. But yeah, Boxing Day always throws up a couple of odd results. So no doubt we'll get a win then, because we'll probably be the underdogs going into that game because of how crap we've been recently. But I think I see a question a minute ago saying, who is Steve Round? Steve Round used to be a coach at Man United. He was a coach at England and he was a coach at Everton. He is going to be the assistant coach to Mikel Arteta. Freddie Ljungberg is going to be in and around the squad as well. He's going to be part of the coaching staff, I believe. I don't know what capacity yet. There's nothing solid that's come out on that. Do drive the likes up. 700 people watching this live. 67 likes right now. Let's get that to 100 as quick as we can. What do you think of the Steve Round appointment? Well, listen, he's gone with his guy. That's all you can do. He's picked him. So, yeah, we've got to go with that. Like I said, he's here now, Arteta. So I've got to deal with it. And hopefully we can start picking up performances. Like I said, I watched the training ground stuff that he was doing earlier. And I've seen the way that he's trying to adopt the Pep Guardiola triangles on the pitch and stuff like that. That's all well and good, and I really hope it works. But sometimes you got to pick the right personnel, and I really hope he picks the right personnel to play how he wants to play, because Unai Emery didn't do that. Unai Emery wanted to do this tippy-tappy passing out from the back stuff. Obviously, that didn't work because he didn't pick the right personnel to do that, and he was picking the likes of Socrates, who couldn't trap a bag of cement, let alone a football. And when that's your main guy that you're passing to in centre-back position, you're always going to put yourself under pressure, and eventually that's what happens. So I'm hoping that Arteta does pick the right players to do what he wants them to do. And if he can't pick the right players, then maybe the board should go and sign some players, which, again, they did for Unai Emery. He brought in how many players? I think it was about 9 players, something like that. But how many of them were actually his choice? And that's what, when you've got a system set up at Arsenal with a technical director, a sporting director, and what's Vinay's job? I don't even know Vinay's job. Just basically being the Sri Lankan Gazidis. That's what his job is. Talks a good game and does nothing. But when you've got this system in place and this hierarchy in place and a structure, how much say will Mikel Arteta actually get in the playing staff that he wants to buy and that he wants to get in? Which is one of the reasons why Jose didn't choose us, apparently. He said that he didn't like the structure of the club, whereas he's gone to Tottenham and he can deal directly with Levy. There's no middleman. There's no 2 or 3 men in the middle. It's direct, straight talk to Levy. Commercial director. Thank you, Krish. More like bullshit director. That's what he is. Big up yourself, DJ Crane, all the way from the US. Happy holiday to you as well, bruv. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I will be here on We'll be here on Boxing Day doing the live stream, the watch along for the game. Carlo Ancelotti earns 200 grand a week. Well, that's 150 grand less than Mesut Ozil. So they've got themselves a good manager. I see the plans for their new stadium today. It looks pretty epic, if I'm honest. Vinay was at Arteta's house doing the deal. Do you know what Mujibi was? And this is what I don't understand. If he's the commercial director, surely he's supposed to be doing deals off the pitch, yeah? And that's Raul's job to do the footballing side of it. Have I missed something here? Have I actually missed something? Because I thought the commercial director was to go and do commercial deals for the club, i.e. visit Rwanda, Adidas, Emirates, stuff like that, get other businesses and organisations involved with sponsorship deals. So I don't understand why he was there in the first place. And where was Raul? Where was Raul? Because surely as football or head of operator, they give themselves such fancy titles. What's Raul's actual title? Is it head of football operations or is it football director? I don't know what his title is. All I know is the geezer's fraud Raul right now. Did you see the Ndidi news? No, what's happened? What's happened? Tell me. We are linked with Ndidi. Yes, Ndidi. Poor Georgie is going to be fuming if he comes to us. Do you think? Who do you think? I think that's supposed to say Zoab, yeah? Who do you think are the right players to fit the system? Well, we definitely need to get rid of Socrates. Definitely, 100% he's got to go. I think we've got to get rid of Granit Xhaka. Both of them two players are not comfortable enough on the ball. And both of them players are in a position on the pitch which is crucial to start in play off. So when you look at Man City, they've got John Stones or they've got Emerick Laporte or whoever, yeah, in centre-back. They're very comfortable on the ball. And they start that transition from goalkeeper to attack. Then they play the ball into midfield to Fernandinho when he plays in midfield. And again, he's very comfortable on the ball. Or they'll play it into Kevin De Bruyne, comfortable on the ball. Have we got a midfielder that's comfortable on the ball in that central position? Can you fire a ball at Granit Xhaka on his right foot and he traps it like that? No way. And he's got no pace about him. He's got no agility for me, Xhaka. So for me, if you want to move forward and play that attacking, passing out from the back, possession-based football, like Man City do, and like we did under Wenger at times, then you have to switch up that centre-back pairing and you have to switch up that midfield. Because you can't play the football he wants to play with Granit Xhaka, who's only got a left foot. The guy's clueless on his right foot. The guy's clueless, full stop, if we're being honest. He ain't the greatest footballer, is he? But at the same time, when he goes and plays for Switzerland, it's a slower tempo. He looks great. The Premier League's unforgiving. It's not a slow tempo, which is why he's not suitable when he's at the deepest of that midfield. And he is that guy to make the transition from defence to attack. For me, he ain't got the agility. He ain't got the awareness. He ain't got the speed. He hasn't even got the passing accuracy, in my opinion. He tries to switch a 60-yard diag and he does it once every 6 balls. Yeah, he hasn't got anything about him for me to do that job. If you put somebody like Ndidi in that position, left foot, right foot, he's more physical in a tackle. He can track runners. He can get forward. Yes, his passing might not be as great as Xhaka, but he'll keep the ball. He ain't going to just lose the ball and ping 60 yards across the pitch and get him clean through on goal, is he? So for me, we have to switch up in that position 100% and centre-back. So, I don't know, Nathan Ake maybe. I'd take Nathan Ake at centre-back. I think he's a good player, very underrated. If you don't want to go down that route of playing nice tippy-tappy football, and go and buy Lewis Dunk, a proper throwback to a Martin Keown type centre-back. Thank you, THC of UYO. Thank you very much for your sticker, buddy. Appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Raul was at the Europa League draw, I guess. Possibly. Yeah, maybe he was actually. I didn't think of that. It was the same day, wasn't it? So, yeah. Thank you, SR.M. Do you think Ceballos will shine under Arteta, says Grant? I don't know. He needs to just get himself back fit, if I'm being honest, because he's been out for a while and he's been poor since he's been here. 40 million for Xhaka. Ain't no way Xhaka's going for 40 million, Reese. If anyone pays that, then seriously, football has properly gone mad. I'd say maybe 30, 32. Need a midfielder that will play with Ceballos and Torreira. Listen, I think, I said this earlier on my daily transfer update, right? Thank you, bruv. Again, appreciate that. You're the real one, bruv. You're always here, so thank you. But I said on my daily transfer update earlier on, I was like, Granit Xhaka and Matteo Guendouzi, what's the difference between the two of them? They both play the same position. And this is what makes me laugh when we set up a team and both of them start, or we start Torreira and Guendouzi, or all three of them. People go, oh, we're going with three defensive midfielders. Well, we're not really, are we? Because Granit Xhaka ain't defensive, and Guendouzi ain't defensive. They're deep-lying playmakers. They're not defensive. But when they're sitting at the base of that midfield, people think that because they're at the base of the midfield, that they're defensive. They're not. They're the link between defence and attack. If you look how David Silva plays for Man City, he's that guy now. He used to be the forward-thinking guy that was up the top end of the pitch. The older he's got and the slower he's got, they've used his experience to drop him back very Santi Cazorla-like into that position. We could do with him right now. Santi Cazorla, big up Santi. But for me, I don't see no difference between Guendouzi and Xhaka, other than the fact Guendouzi can use both feet and dribble past someone, which for me makes Guendouzi better than Xhaka, even though he's not the best midfielder in the world. I think he's young enough to still learn. I think he's got the talent there. He just needs to be coached in the right direction, because sometimes he's a headless chicken as well. And sometimes he doesn't track runners like Xhaka. They both are very similar, but I think that Guendouzi's got more going forward in terms of dribbling past somebody and being able to use both feet. So get rid of Xhaka and put Guendouzi there. Guendouzi, Torreira and Ceballos. That would be a decent three. You've then got Willock on the bench if you want to bring Willock on. You've got Smith Rowe on the bench. But for me, go out in the summer and go and buy a proper midfielder. Somebody in the mould of Ndombele at Tottenham. I'm using him as an example because he was available in the summer, and we probably should have brought him instead of Pepe, if we're being honest. I got cussed when I said that in, I think it was September. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, listen, I was over the moon when we signed Pepe. I'd still taken Ndombele at Arsenal because he's exactly what we needed. We need a guy in that midfield that can dictate the play and dominate a midfield. And I think he can do that. Arteta will bring Laporte and KDB in January. Bro, Kevin De Bruyne, man. That guy, I love watching him play, man. He is exactly what Ozil fanboys think Mesut Ozil is. He is an absolute joy to watch. Yeah, and do you know what? I don't dislike Man City at all. I have got nothing against Man City at all. Yeah, and I'd rather, listen, you're a Liverpool fan, Rabba, so close your ears, yeah? I'd rather City win the league than Liverpool, if I'm honest. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, the way Liverpool have gone about doing it, they're going to win the league. They'll probably go unbeaten. And that goes to show that you can do it on a shoestring budget, because they ain't spent next to nothing, Liverpool. In fact, our net spend and our gross spend, I think Liverpool's gross spend is £27 million more than Arsenal's in the last 5 years, which equates to about £5 million a year more that they've laid out. But then their net spend is about £190 million less than ours. They sold their best player, Coutinho, and bought a goalkeeper and a centre-back. Arsenal fans are sitting here still going, oh, we've got to keep Aubameyang, we've got to keep Mesut Ozil, we've got to keep Xhaka. No, get rid for the good of the team. Yeah, I like Aubameyang. I think he's a good player. Goal scorer, should I say, not player. I don't think he's a great player at all. I think he's a very good goal scorer. But sell him. If you can get Jovic and 30 million quid, do it all day long. Why are we waiting? Jovic is what, 21, 22 years old? He knows exactly where the back of the net is and he works hard for the team. Yeah, then you've still got 30 million quid to go and put towards a midfielder or a centre-back or something else that Arteta wants to pick. Why are we sitting there going, well, Aubameyang, oh, if we get rid of him, we're relegated? Well, we're not, are we? Let's be real. What about Decore? Evening to you, sexual vanilla league gunner. Love that name. That's the name of the name of 2019, bruv. I'd take Decore. Listen, I think he's a very good player, and I think he can do better than Watford. No disrespect to Watford, but I think he can do better than that. And Didi to Arsenal, 40 million done deal. You want to wind up, bruv? Right? Because I know you're a Leicester fan, yeah? You've got to be winding me up, seriously. If that is true, then that's too cheap. I can't even lie. 40 million's too cheap. Jovic and 70 million is being talked. That's too much. That's saying Aubameyang's worth 120. I think they paid 50 for him, didn't they, Jovic? Mikey, I think they paid 50. I think Jovic, 35, 40 million maybe. I think that's a good deal. Aubameyang's 31 in the summer. What about Kevin Volland? I think you mean Mo is. I think he's gone 9 games without a goal. Is that another Giroud in the waiting? I don't know, but Cavani's available. Would anyone take Cavani? He could be going to Atleti. So I don't know. Good evening to you, Alexander. Do drive the likes up, people. Nearly 900 people watching this live. I will be back at 9 o'clock. We're going to do a little look ahead to the game against Bournemouth on Boxing Day. So I will be back at 9 o'clock streaming that. We'll have a little look at who's fit, who's not fit, whether you guys are confident, what formations and stuff like that we should look at. And yeah, we'll do that at 9 o'clock. Would you sign Leroy Sané to replace Aubameyang? Yes, in a heartbeat, mate. That guy is a baller. Absolute baller. Sly for 10 million. Well, it ain't 10 million. You lot are on a wind up with some of these prices, I swear down. City won the lottery. If Newcastle did, they would be in the same position. Anyway, that's how it works. I don't hate City. They just annoy me. Do you know what? You're right. Yeah. And that was like Chelsea when Abramovich first come along. They're basically Fulham with a lotto win. That's how they are. But you know what? Fair play to Abramovich. I will say this, yeah. Fair play to Abramovich. Because again, if you look at their last 5 minutes, their last 5 years, their last 5 years net spend is about £100 million. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They've spent next to nothing in 5 years and they've still got a better squad than Arsenal, which is mental. That just shows how mismanaged we are and how piss poor it's been for maybe 8 years, maybe longer, probably since we moved from Highbury. You know, so when you look at the league table on the last 5 years of gross spend, net spend, and average spend on a season, I think we were 6th in the league on gross spend, or 4th in the league on gross spend. No, 6th. We were 6th in the league on gross spend, which is probably about right when you think Man City, Man United, massive amounts of money, other teams that are in there as well. I think Everton had spent there or thereabouts what we had spent in the last 5 years. But then when you look at what's been recouped, Chelsea have recouped £500 million in 5 years. So they've actually spent £600 million out, but then recouped £500 million back. That's unbelievable from Abramovich. And he's actually running it like a proper business now because he has to, because of financial fair play. So when people go on about the owners at Arsenal and think that get rid of the owners, bring an Abramovich type person in, all of a sudden we're going to spend billions and billions and billions. It genuinely doesn't work like that. Why do you think Abramovich has slowed down with the spending? Because he had to. But I don't know. Listen, I ain't going to ramble on about the owners. We've got a game. It's Christmas Eve. What's the film we're watching tonight, Logan?
Polar Express.
Polar Express. We're going to watch Polar Express this evening. Then tomorrow we're going to watch Home Alone 2. That's the Christmas Eve film. So yeah, we're chilling tonight. Would you take Kingsley Coman at Arsenal? Big up, score 7. I hope you're good, mate. Do you know what? People don't like it when I say this, but I think he's massively overhyped, mate. I don't want him. I wouldn't want him at Arsenal. I'd take Sané over him all day long. I'd actually take Wilfried Zaha over him, and I don't rate Zaha either. Les, one more. You're a joker, bruv. I swear that comment. Would you go for Marco Reus? Oh, we should go for Marco Reus. I don't think we should, mate. The guy's more injury prone than Darren Anderton ever was. Yeah, we might call him sick note. Good player when he's fit, but constantly injured. Julian Draxler, Jesus Christ. I'm surprised we ain't been linked with that guy yet, Hacks. I'm going to do a couple more minutes of this. Thank you very much to everybody who's watching live. Over 900 people still watching this live. Do drive the likes up. Stick the likes up and do subscribe if you're new. And I will be back at 9 o'clock to do a little look forward to the game. Like I said, and I will be doing the watch along as normal on Boxing Day. Christmas Day, I'm going to put a video out there. I won't be live streaming on Christmas Day, but I will have a little video out there on Christmas Day, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, I will be doing the streams as normal. I'll be doing the transfer update daytime when I'll get up rather than 7 o'clock. And like I said, to anybody who's joined late, the daily transfer update will go back to 7 o'clock in the morning when I get back to Spain, which will be the 9th of January. So the 10th of January, it'll be in there for 7 a.m. on the 10th. But until then, I'll be doing them when I get up. I'm going to spend some time with family and stuff like that in the evening. So I do try and record them the night before if I can. But yeah, I will be back 9 o'clock. So come back and check that out. I'm going to read 3 more of these comments out and I'm going to get myself out of here and have some dinner. Would you take Kai Havertz and Timo Werner in an absolute heartbeat, Kay? Absolute heartbeat. all day long. All day long. Kai Havertz is a baller, man. Timo Werner. I don't rate Timo Werner as highly as a lot of people do. He had a shocking World Cup, a proper shocking World Cup. But then again, so did Germany as a whole. We won't go there because obviously certain man called out certain man. But yeah, Merry Christmas, says Kiwi Guna. Listen, Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates Christmas. I don't really particularly like Christmas, but because I've got a daughter, I celebrate Christmas. It's all for the little ones. It's all for family and stuff like that. Ozil or James Rodriguez? Good question. Neither. They're both overhyped. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Ozil. I just don't get the hype around either of them, if I'm honest. But that James Rodriguez has lived off of the back of a grasshopper landing on his shoulder 8 years ago. Sorry, don't get it. Right, one more comment and I am gone. One more comment. Let's read one more. Did you pull these stats out of your ass? No, it's on my Twitter account, mate. LeagueGunner82. Go to LeagueGunner82 on my Twitter. Go to media. Scroll down and you'll see the last 5 years of net spend, gross spend, average spend. That weren't done by me, bruv. I'm not reading them out. Making them up, sorry. I'm reading them out off of what I've said. So go and check it out, mate. You don't have to. That's up to you. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm not begging you to believe what I'm saying. I'm putting it out there off of what I read. I'm going to read this comment out because my man's paid 20 quid to put that in there. So thank you very much to you, my friend Shaheen. I hope I pronounced that right, my friend Shamanza. Haley, been very impressed with Arteta and what he's been saying. Let's hope he can back it up and the board back him in January. I think we can make top four with a good few signings. I'm not too sure about top four. I'm not too sure about that. But in saying that, Tottenham are thought we're in. Chelsea have had a wobble, but they won yesterday. Man United lost after a good little run. So yeah, Leicester, again, they lost. I think, did Leicester lose? I think they lost to Man City. So yeah, it's potentially there. But it's going to be hard if we're going to get in that top four. But you know what? The one thing I will say, right? And thank you very much for that, mate. Merry Christmas to you and yours, mate. Yeah. One thing I will say before I go is that I've seen a lot of people dig me out for me saying I don't want Arteta and this and that. Don't get me wrong, yeah? If that guy smashes it, I'll be the happiest guy on the planet. So everything he's saying is fantastic. It's great. But like I said, there's a lot of players that will throw this guy under the bus. They threw Wenger under the bus at times. They threw Emery under the bus. They threw Freddie under the bus. That is where I hope and pray and my fingers are crossed that he has got the ruthlessness to say, nah, I don't care who you are, you're gone. And if he does, we move forward as a football club and we're all happy. And on that note, thank you very much to everybody who's still watching live, over 800. I will be back at 9 o'clock. Until then, big up yourselves. Thank you to everyone in the chat and everyone who donated as always. Listen, I never asked for them. People think I ask for them. I've never once asked for them. So listen, you don't have to do that. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. If I see your comment, I read it. So I'll be back at 9. Laters, peeps.